Hello and welcome back to the second part of the video, the food photography video. In this video, we are going to show you how to edit your food photography images. These were shot in the video previously, so I have the link right up here. You can click. If you have not watched the video, please go and watch. And another thing is we are going to have a bonus item in this video, so please do watch till the end. I have a shrimp in my hand in the fork. I am using this black background and I am going to take a shot of this. There's something special about this shot I've taken. I'm going to add some real good magic to this. So please do watch this video right till the end. And now we shall begin the editing of the other images. I am going to select the image from my gallery. The first one I would like to take is the French fries. Now if you look at the image, it is having a yellowish tone because the light that came from the window was a sunlight. So we need to work on that now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come to my tools, white balance, and then by sliding it to my left, the temperature, as you can see here, I'm going to make it a little on the cooler side. If I tap the screen, it will show me the before, and if I leave just and I remove my finger, it is going to show me after. I think we need to get it a little on the warmer side, so probably around 30 is fine. Here we go. Now again, clicking on the tools, I am going to tune image and going to the slider down here. I will look for opening up the ambience, the overall ambience, slide it to the right a little bit, around 30-35 is fine. Again I click, I go to the shadows and I will pull it on the left on the side because I want it to have a little bit of the blackness should be there. I'll use the curves, click it on the center of the grid, bring it down a bit by dragging it a little bit down here. Another important part is when you're editing an image, make sure that you have your brightness to the fullest, like I have kept it on the phone over here, so that you know what's happening. Now I will again come up here, I will go to tune image, I'll go to the contrast, I'll drag it down a bit to the right hand side. Now what is happening here, I can see that the French fries is looking oversaturated and I want to only work on the saturation part there. So I will go to tools, I will look for selective tool, I will click on the plus icon over here and I will place my finger on the fingertips. I click plus, I have dropped, if you can see there's a B on the screen here and it is showing me which area is been affected. I click on it, I will slide down, up, and I look for saturation, and I will now reduce the saturation over here, and I'll say OK. So what that did was, it did a selective saturation control. It only worked upon the yellow part of the image, which was the fingertips, and not the other part. Now I want to work on the chili and do the same thing. I go to tools, I go to selective and I say click, I zoom in a bit over here and I just click on the chili by pressing the plus icon over here, and you can see the B, which is a brightness. I scroll up down to see what I want. I go to saturation and I will increase the saturation to 40. So if you can see, it's only working on the chili part and not any other part. Now if I tap, this is the before and this is the after. Now let's add a bit of more effect to it. I am going to vintage as I saw. I look for a particular effect. So I have gone to vintage as you saw. I am looking for what suits my scene better. That will look really nice. It's giving that a vignette kind of effect. If you see, I will go to style strength and get it a little bit down, and the vignette probably a little more, around 20 is fine. And this is what I got. can see the before. Now this is the after. It is coming out so beautiful. Now we need to work on the details a bit. I go to details, I slide up, I slide down up, I get a sharpening tool. I'll sharpen it a bit around say 25. I won't use structure much, maybe 5, because structure will give it too much of grunge effect, which we don't want. And this is how our image now looks before and after. Simply I'll just check if there is any scope of doing anything. I think this is just fine, so we do not need to do anything to it. I will go to export and I will simply export my image. There, you can find the image in the gallery. Let me show it to you how it looks. I go to my photo gallery, here it is, and look at this, it looks so beautiful. Moving on to the other image, which is the chai. Let's get it here, and here is the chai. So what I'm going to do is, chai is a food which has a little bit of warmth, and if you can see, this is a bit on the cooler side. We go to the white balance and the temperature we shift to the right, making it a little bit of warm. Then we will go to the details and I will add a little bit of structure, making the jute to look more rustic. Maybe a little bit of sharpening, not much, around 10 should be fine. Okay, so this is how it looks. We go to before, it's quite cool, and now it's looking warm. So in this image there's nothing much to play actually, because we want it to be pretty simple. Going back to tools, I will go to vintage and I will look for a particular filter that makes it look very nice. Maybe 10, 11, and this. So I think this is making it look pretty cinematic. I will click and that's how it is. Probably if you want to play around more, you can go to tools, you can go to tune image, and you can look for ambience, increase the ambience of it. But then what happens if you do that? It is the vignette effect is going, I think 16 is fine. So this is how the T image is looking. We do not need to play too much around it. If this is the before and this is the after, so it is giving a nice rustic and a very beautiful warm feel to the whole image. We go to export and we send it to the gallery. If you now go to a gallery, you will find the image there. Now let's move on to the other image. Now we have opened up this lemon image and let's see what best we can do. So first of all, I think this is a bit of crooked, so maybe I'll do a little bit of image correction by making it straight. Okay, now let's make it look nice and sharp. We go to details. I will probably pull the structure. We can now see the droplets on the glass jar, the condensed one, and I think around 38 is fine. Then we'll come to sharpening. We'll use sharpen, and here we go. I'll go to tools, go to ambience, and open up the colors a bit in the ambience. Here. But what this is doing is adding a little warmth, so that's fine. We don't want it to look warm. Let us see what happens if we play with the contrast. That is becoming very unnatural. We don't want to do that, so we probably just decrease the contrast a bit. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to white balance and make it more, we'll make it look a little bit cooler. This looks much natural. And then I like the vintage because it really makes the whole scene look beautiful. Let us see what suits our drink. Yeah, this filter is really making it look good, but what I need to do is to make the style strength a bit, and I'll add a bit of brightness in the center. Suppose you wanted to add a bit of more saturation to the mint leaves, what you can do is you can go to tools, you can go to selective, and you can simply tap on the leaf. You can see the B icon, which is the brightness, and you just drag it up and you come up down and you can see the saturation, and just simply saturation, and this is how you just drag it to the right and drag it behind. It is working only and only on the leaves. Maybe around 25 is fine. So this is the before and this is the after. You can see in the before, the ice cold drink which is written on the jar was not very clear when you processed it, and now we can see the ice cold drink written on the jar so clearly. This is giving a nice chilled look to the drink and really making my mouth water now. We export, and here we go. So this is now gone to a gallery and you can go and have a look. Moving on to the next image now. Here we have the Paani Poori. Yummy, isn't it? Now again, this is having a warm feel to it because the light from the window was warm. It was sunny day. We will adjust the white balance. Around 26 should be fine. What I would also do here is probably crop the top portion. Maybe I make this square, and I think that's fine. Okay, now I'm making it squarish, and now we'll add a bit of details over here. I'm using the structure over here so that I can add a bit of detailing to the Poori, make it pop out. Here it looks. Now if we go before, soft, after, sharp, bit of sharpening. Now what has happened here, if you look at the coriander leaves, they have turned out to be a little dull, and we will get some life to that. We have come to the tools. We are going to select a brush. We will go to the exposure, and around +3 is fine. I'm going to zoom and I'm going to paint on this coriander leaf with my finger. Because we're doing selective exposure setting, I'll drag the blue box up to the other coriander. And I say fine. Now you can see the before and after. You can see that the coriander is looking much better and much clearer and brighter. So that's how the selective brush painting works. I go to tool, we come to the tune image. When you go to ambience, and probably increase the ambience a bit, but this is also adding a saturation to it. So we come to saturation and then we'll just get this down. Vintage adds a good feel to food photography, so I always happen to use it. I look at what is working best for my photograph. Yeah, this is looking really nice. Again, I am going to increase the brightness in the center, and the vignette we are going to make. This is the before and this is the after. There's a lot you can do to process a particular image. I'm showing you all the basic stuff in this particular tutorial. You can do much more. So if I am using tonal a bit here, so what happens is tonal is giving this a pretty grunge effect, and it is quite a lot. So probably if we can use around 20, fine. So here we go, before, and this is after. The Paani Poori is all ready to be eaten up. We go and we export. So as I told you folks, I'm going to give you a bonus element in this video. This is going to be the best part of the whole video, so please watch carefully. So I have the shrimp here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate it a bit. Yeah, so here it is. Fine. I'm also going to, so this looks okay. I'm going to go to tools, I'm going to go to tune image, I'm going to raise the ambience a bit. Shadow I'm going to lower down. A bit of saturation. Not too much. Around 20 should be fine. So we are going to use the double exposure over here, and this is where the magic is going to happen. So here I go to double exposure. I will go to my gallery. I have a PNG which is a transparent image of the smoke. Here it is. I'll go to settings below and I will make this lighten. And I'm going to come to the opacity and I'm going to reduce this a bit to around, this is not showing me the value, but you can see how much I've reduced it to. And I'm going to keep it right here. Fine. Now I am going to erase the unwanted part of the smoke. I will come here on the top where the arrow is. I will say view edits. I will come to double exposure. The center, you can see the icon, the brush and the square. I will, on the left I will click this, and I will also click the eye icon and start painting. Because so easily we painted out the portion, and I will say fine, go back. Isn't the smoke looking so cool? But this smoke happens to be very sharp. I need to add a bit of blur to it. I go to tools, I will select lens blur, and I will drag this up, right up to the corner, and I'll say okay. Similarly, I'll go back to view edits. Again, I will go to lens blur. I will select this again, on the left hand side. This I'll tap the eye. Again, this will show me that this is the part which is entirely blurred. I click it again and I'll start to paint with my finger. What I've done is I'm masking this. Basically, I'm only keeping the part which I want sharp and I'm painting within that much region. And now we can see the smoke is so natural and it is kind of a soft kind of smoke rather than being harsh. Here we go. So you can play around with this image, and if you want you can add a vintage feel to it. It is looking nice. Probably you can select, I think the previous one looked good. This is looking much natural by giving it a natural feel. So we can increase the brightness a bit, and the vignette is hiding the fork in the corner. Here, this is the before and this is the after. So I'll do one thing, I'll go to tune image and I'll play with the shadows a bit because I can see the black is looking more grayish. I will just decrease the shadow a bit to around 20%, and here we are good to go. So we added smoke so easily to the subject. Is looking the nice hot prawn straight out of the pot, and we will export it. That's it, folks. Last two episodes have been about food photography, about shooting and editing both. I hope you really enjoyed watching them. I will see you in another exciting video that is coming up next week.